before that, I want to thank our OERB at OERB Board Office and Mrs. Judai for granting us this speaker with us today. So, how many of you know Miss Binni Brahmbhatt Sharma? Okay, I can only see 3 or 4 here. So, she needs a very, let me introduce her, let me read it. I don't want to do a mistake here. So, Binni is a licensed psychologist and mental health coach specializing in adolescent well-being. She is a creator of Binni Empowers, an organization dedicated to youth, resilience and mental health advocacy. An acclaimed TEDx speaker and trusted consultant for schools and families in Nairobi. She provides practical insights on how parents can effectively support their children with the mental health. So about today's theme, she will explain and then she'll talk more. Welcome, Binni. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, parents. A giant thank you. I never take it for granted when parents and both dads and moms show up for a conversation like this on a Saturday morning. You guys work all through the week, and then to show up in the morning to listen to something that, in your opinion, should be easy, raising children, parenting, understanding these things, but your parents never went for these kind of conversations. And so a big thank you and gratitude for showing up. I'm also equally thrilled to see probably equal numbers of dads in the group today. So a big round of applause for dads. And this is more important. I don't know what I'm going to say is going to resonate, but for all the dads in this forum today, for your dad, I love you meant giving food on table. Most of you here wouldn't have been hugged enough, or probably having an eye contact and just saying, I love you, son, or a big giant hug, or father-son moments. Not all of them got this. Not because our dads didn't love us, they loved us immensely. But the understanding of love was food on table, sending you to good university, education, and generally a good lifestyle. And so when we didn't get that, we still show up for a forum like this just to help our children perform better or show up better for their exams. It's a huge thing. So once again, thank you dads for showing up on your weekend. As we begin, I want all of you to take a moment and just indulge me, okay? Just for about 2 minutes. I want you all to close your eyes. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath. You're going to go on a tiny 1-minute journey into your childhood. So take a deep breath, and if closing eyes is difficult, you can just look down. You were giving your high school exam. It could be 10th standard exam, it could be 12th standard exam. And think of the most difficult paper. Imagine that day when you're giving your science exam, physics exam, math exam. And then notice what was going on within you. Notice who do you remember being your biggest, strongest supporter. And then notice who were you really scared of, the exam or the pressure from home of performing. And keeping that memory intact, slowly open your eyes. Whatever you were going through then, as a student, as a child, that's exactly and probably more why your children are going through around this time. Some of you may not agree, some of you may think that your children have much more easier than you did. But science says otherwise. So I'll ask you once again to close your eyes. You did very well the last time. Once again, just close your eyes. And take a deep breath, like a deep belly breath. And then sigh it out. Just visualize your child in the morning of their exam. What emotion do you see on their face? Do you see anxiety? Do you see confidence? Do you see hope? Do you see pressure? And then slowly open your eyes. So you know exactly what your children are going through. We don't talk about this enough. But I want all of you to remember that around the next 4 months, about 100 days now, it's the most important period of your child, academically. And your child is going to remember the connection that you give. Or they are going to remember the pressure that they experienced. Contextually, I want you all to remember that this is just one of the many hurdles, exams and interviews they'll be going through in their life. Just one. And so let me begin with what is the purpose of today's conversation. Number one, to remind you that each and every child, and especially all your children today, are immensely gifted. They all have potential. They all have potential. Now you may wonder that why don't you see that potential sometimes? But that's the perception we carry. I've been doing this with children, with adolescents, with parents for almost a decade now. What I've seen is every child has the potential, but it's hidden. And it only shows up when they have a team of supporters who believe in them and who guide them into what they really enjoy. So if your child is already gifted and he or she has immense potential, the purpose of today's talk is not to ask you to lower your expectations. The purpose of today's talk is to help you connect better around the most difficult time of your child's life, these 4 months. And if you ask your child, if any student here in the room will probably agree if I say this, wherever they go, people are talking about this. What courses are you taking? Have you applied? What grades? Which university? What do you want to be? So they are feeling the pressure. The purpose of today's conversation is about raising emotional safety. What is emotional safety? Just like food, shelter and clothing, this is one of our fundamental needs. Emotional safety is that our children feel seen, that you matter, what you speak matters, heard, understood and valued. So just to help you tune into giving them the emotional comfort that they require. Because everything else they are doing it. School is doing its job. They're already here. With or without you, they'll figure it out. So let's begin having a conversation around how do we shift our parenting from pressure to presence. When I say presence, it means I'm here for you. I'm looking at you, I'm not distracted when you talk to me. And you matter to me. And I'm going to spend time just connecting with you without lecturing. So how can we shift from pressure to presence? How can we shift from control to connection? One fundamental thing I've learned in my journey is, and I'm sure you'll all agree if you think about your own stories, is anywhere you try to exercise control, anywhere, the flip side is you lose the connection. Whether it's in relationship, whether it's with a job, whether it's something that you really want, if you really try to control it tight, you're going to lose the connection. People don't want to be around you. Nobody likes to be controlled. So how do we learn these fundamental techniques and skills so we can aid our children, especially in the next 4 months? I had this amazing 15-year-old a few years ago, but I have seen these stories many a times in my work. His O-levels were coming and I asked him, it was just the last week before exams. Obviously he was stressed. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Let's talk about it. What are you really stressed about? Are you ready? Are you prepared? And he was bright, he was an A-star student. I'm like, what's going on? What are you really stressed about? Are you prepared? Yes. Are you doing everything right? Yes. Are you scared of performing? And he says, no, I'm not scared of performing. Are you scared of failure? No, I'm not scared of failure. So what are you really scared of? What if I disappoint my parents? And it's not this one child. Trust me, your children are not as sensitive to rejection and failure as you think they are. But then again, I want to ask you, how does it feel when we failed an interview or a contract that we didn't get, or even as a student? I think we have been raised in a culture that when we fail, it's like someone loves us very less. It's like the love factor is taken away. And actually it's not synonymous, right? Love should just be love. I mean, when I ask parents, do you love your children? Of course I love my children. But do you love them when they fail? Is that love seen? Or are we filled with judgments? And again, I'm not putting blame here. All I'm trying to say is we never got that, right? But we could change that for our children. It's very important that our children understand that all of this is a journey, and as long as they put in effort, performance, everything else figures itself out. But we need to assure them that we are never disappointed in them. We need to assure them that they don't have to be scared about our expectations. And this whole conversation today is just about learning how do we bring that in action? How do we integrate that parenting skill from control to connection, from pressure to presence? So pressure is good. Okay, when you're going for if any of you here have ever played a sport, it's good. Just before you have those butterflies and you're anxious and you're really stressed because you've prepared for this. And by the end of the game, whether you win or lose, it's gone. That's pressure. But it's that adrenaline that helps you push. So you end up getting good grades, or winning the race, or at least trying your best. It's the same pressure that I put myself before coming for this. I'm always anxious, although I've been a TED speaker. There's always a sweet anxiety of giving my best. But then at the end of this talk, I'm going to feel so much more lighter. But it's that pressure that helps you push a little bit more to give your extra. And it's beautiful. But too much pressure, we all know what happens. There's a reason why most of the children, in fact, I had this conversation with 11-year-olds. And in your own school, I had this conversation with 11-year-olds, 300 of them. And I asked them, raise your hand if you've ever felt anxious. All the 300 raised their hand. What does that say? And it's not just this school and these kids, it's about children everywhere. All of them have had some form of anxiety. That's too much pressure. And so it's very important today we understand that healthy pressure, what does that look like? Your children are 16, 17. They are figuring it out. So having that autonomy, that they can choose to study at a certain time as long as they are putting in that effort. If we don't give them that freedom to utilize their 24 hours in a smart way, we can give them a structure, we can guide them, we can mentor them. But if we decide everything for them, we are going to lose this battle. They will start performing in front of us, and we can never have that. So it's very simple. We have to ensure that in the next 4 months, 100 days, you have to ensure that you are your child's biggest cheerleader. Imagine a cheerleader for a sports team. Do you think they are judging and criticizing, or are they like filled with excitement and euphoria? I need you to perform that. Children need to see that you believe in them. It's mirror neurons, it's a contagious energy. If they see it in your eyes, they believe it in themselves. Set them a structure, help them set a structure. They are 16, you can always ask them, you want to set a structure around your timetable, around your routines, is there anywhere I can help? Treat them like adults. Give them the respect like you would to your client. Then they are ready to give their best, because that's where motivation is born from. Because they know someone believes in them. When you see a belief in someone's eyes, it releases happy hormones. When your happy hormones are released, you are excited about life, you want to work hard. And yet, we are pulled by our patterns of creating fear. Because that's what our parents did. Again, no blame to any generation, but they didn't know any better. Everything was fear-based. If you don't do this, this will happen. If you fail, you won't go to college. You won't get a good job. So it was so fear-based. The narrative was fear-based. That's not helping anyone, not in these days. Guys, you guys are sitting here, you all are abundant in terms of your economic wealth. Everything is good. The children are going to a great school. So look at genetics. All of you, did you do better than your parents? Yes, no? Did we all do better than our parents? Financially? Yes? Almost all of them. So have that faith in your genetics. Next generation will definitely do better than you. With or without it. Comparison kills personality. It's a vetted fact. If your child is a C student, and I've worked, trust me, I've worked with D minuses, I've worked with children who are not managing the basic grades. And then they have the capability to go to B plus and do phenomenally well in their A and O levels. What changes? One person who believes in them and who tells them, your focus from a D minus is just to get D. 7 marks. Can you give me 7 marks more in physics? Just 7 marks. Can we break it down? But if I tell that child that your brother is an A student, why are you D minus? Even if he puts in effort, he's constantly going to look at A as a threshold. He will not get A. He's going to be demotivated. He's like, I'll never get that A. Why even try? And I've actually done that. I've told children to believe they are actually in a tunnel. I tell them, think of yourself as you put yourself in a tunnel. You can't see the world around you, just you. Your only comparison is to yourself. If before you got 54 in English and now you got 60, you and I will celebrate. How about that? If you get 60, next time you get 67, you and I will celebrate. How about that? Look at that excitement of that child. And these are not just one story. Case studies of this. You bring in the excitement, bring in the belief that they can do it, because they all have an intellect. And this I'm talking about across all ethnicities. All ethnicities. It's not just Asians or Africans. I'm talking about all ethnicities. They all have it, but they just don't have enough belief in themselves. So, step away from comparison. Compare them to their past way. Give them the motivation. How can you bring it a little bit better? We'll still celebrate you. Do not compare them to your times. That's not helping. We are failing. We are really failing when we tell them during our times. No. We survived, but it wasn't easy. And their generation is also surviving, and it's not easy. They have different set of problems. We have different set of problems. We came with our own destiny. They've come with their own destiny. So separate that. No fear, no comparison, and no constant correction. It's very important you understand when you are correcting them, they are disconnecting from you. Correction comes from that need to control. It needs to be in a certain way. Just simple reminder, with or without you, they'll figure it out. They will figure it out. How can you replace these unhealthy habits with healthy habits? How can you tune into believing in them? How can you step away from fear? Simple statement, I did better than my dad. We did better than the last generation. My children will do it. This is a very important slide for me because this is where the key differentiation of it's so easy for next generation or this generation will change. Your belief system will change hopefully after this. Now we know that the thinking mind, the prefrontal cortex, develops in mid-20s, around 25. That means the CEO of your brain, the rational thinking part of your brain completely develops and is ready to make wise, future-based decisions after 25. So your children are actually working through their overactive amygdala, which is the emotional brain. And yet at 16, we want them to decide what they will be when they are 25 by deciding subjects and career. Like it's crazy. If you look at science, it's ironical what we are making our children go through. We went through it, yes, but this knowledge wasn't available. Today, this knowledge is available. Today, we know that our children are impulsive and getting into behavioral struggles because they are functioning from an emotional brain. It's an impulsive time for them. They are going through identity crisis, hormonal changes, puberty. Each time your child looks in the mirror, they don't like what they see. That's evolution. It's just the way this mucky part of teenagehood is, and it settles down by mid-20s. Think about yourself as teenagers. I refuse to believe a single person who tells me we didn't do anything we like wondering what was that in our teen years. That was the emotional brain. So yes, we went through it, our children are going through it. But then, when someone body shamed us or said something negative, only 5 people knew about it. Just few classmates, 20 people, 30 people, 60 people. But then it was over. Our friends, when we used to go down and play, they would tease us with it. But that was it. For your children, one comment, one bullying incident, 500 people will know about it. People who they have never met will know about them. We had parents who were present because they didn't have a choice, they didn't have any distraction like screen. Most of us had mothers who were present. So So we had no choice but to help them. Energy movement, we would walk to school. So even if we had an abusive dad or an addiction going on in the family, the fact that we were walking to school would release the intense emotions. It's energy movement. But imagine your child, single parents, addiction, divorces, diseases going on in our generation. Parents who are super busy, overscheduled. Parents who are always on screen. They are losing out on the presence and the connection. Again, no blame on any generation, but this is where the life is right now. They don't get enough sunlight that you and I got when we were younger, which is number one thing for a good brain health. Sunlight, nature, socialization, constantly talking. We were raised in big families, we used to sit together, eat together, work together. Our children don't, they're sitting in their own room, we're sitting in our own room. Times have changed. So our children are missing out on that. And if this is not enough, the immense pressure from school to perform, from parents to perform, from society to perform. It's much more difficult for our children than it was for us. Because eventually we still came home and had stories to tell. Do your children now sit home and tell stories to you? Do they get that individual attention? So they already have a lot of invisible load that they don't even know about. They can't even talk about. Because I, for last 10 years, am listening our generation constantly call them rebellious, argumentative, lazy, lost generation. They don't know what hard work is. Oh, they do. They do. Even without us, they'll figure it out. They are just misunderstood. Because we are not ready to see the old template and the new template. The faster we do that, the faster we have connection with our children. So what is connection? Anybody here? What does connection mean to you? We've all heard that word? Anyone? And there's no wrong answer. What does connection mean to you? I see some parents smiling. Any answers? What does the word connection mean to you? When I say that connect with your kids, what does that look like? Anyone here? Yeah? Yeah, sure. Yes? Yes?
Intentionality.
It's
Intentionality.
intentionality. Yes? Communication. Yes? Yes. Coming to their level, meeting them where they are. Meeting them where they are. But in simple words, think about simple, I'll give you a very beautiful experience to understand what connection is. Think about a time in the last 1 month or last 6 months or any time in your life, you were with someone where it was so easy and free. You were laughing, you were giggling, you didn't have to have a mental check of what you're speaking. You're just being yourself. No judgments, no filters. No need to perform. Could be your sister, it could be your family member, it could be your partner, it could be a group of friends, it could be your tennis mate. But we all have experienced that, yes, no? Everyone has experienced that moment where you are like really bonding with someone, yeah? It's that I want you to do with your child. Where you're completely present, like I am right now with all of you, and almost all of you are connected to me. We are having eye contact, you're not on your phone, I'm not on my phone. I am listening, you are listening. We are having deep conversations. Storytelling, that's connection. not multitasking at all, not being on any screen when you're connecting with your child. Of course, life is there, you have to send important emails, you're tired when you've come home. But you can always say, give me 10 minutes, let me freshen up. Give me half an hour. Let me reset. And I'll come back and then you and me can sit and talk in the balcony over green tea. Or whatever, chai, whatever else that you like. That's connection. We're wanting to know them, wanting to listen to their stories. Not bringing in academics or anything, just simple conversations, no expectation. But no distraction, no correction, no comparison. Just conversation. Playing games, board games, face 10, card games, even video games. Dad and son, mother and son. Come on women, we can do that. 15 minutes of that. Even if you are making a fool of yourself, it's worth it because they laugh. You will laugh in that moment you've wanted. All I ask each of you, and that's what always my request to parents is, just give me 20 minutes of your life. Give that 20 minutes to your child. Just 20 minutes a day. No phone, no comparison, no judgment there. Just conversation, play games, go for a drive, listen to music, put music, dance, be silly, bake a cake. I don't care what you do. 20 minutes where there is no stressful conversation. Every day. And I promise you, you'll come back, and I've had parents who come back and tell me what happened to my child. My child used to not even have an eye contact. He'd always be in his room. This child is now telling me, Dad, when's the next date? Try it. The more connected he will come to you when he's in trouble. The more connected he will be excited to go back to study. Oxytocin is a love hormone. Each time we are having a socialization, a great gathering, a game of cards, a giant hug, being silly, happy hormones are released. When oxytocin, dopamine, all of these hormones are released, we are excited, looking forward to the world, looking forward to life. Let me go and finish my physics. Let me study for next 25 minutes. That's why it's the most important but underrated skill to build that connection. So I want you to really look at this slide and take a moment and do a self-reflection, okay? Just no judgment, just a self-reflection. Look at it. And if your child is here and they are looking at this, what kind of parent are they going to think they have? No judgment. Do we constantly want to fix their problems? Do we constantly focus on, are they studying? Is he on his phone? What is he doing with his friends? He's not even eaten whole day. What's going on? Why is he always stuck on B in English? Why doesn't he move on to A? Are we constantly narrowing our focus on the outcomes of their life? Or are we celebrating our children? Just the fact that they exist. Just the fact that they are healthy. Just the fact that you are blessed with a son or a daughter. Again, I'm not telling you to treat them like nothing. I'm telling you to connect with them so the motivation comes on their own to do all of this. Do you have big reaction? Do you have big fights at home? All of that impacts your child. You may think your child is 16, it doesn't matter, but if there is a lot of rift between partners, if there is a lot of problem in families where with mother-in-law, extended family, if there is a lot of issues with health going on at home, this impacts your child. They are automatically taking it from you. They know the mood. They enter the room and they know the mood. Where do they go and talk about it? We are not raising a culture where we can talk about our problems. We don't ask for help. We keep stories in the home. We don't tell anyone what's really going on. Where is your child going to then share? A lot of stress comes from just witnessing their parents. So re-look at yourself and just ask yourself, are you over-focusing on them? I'm going to share something which is an inconvenient truth. But these conversations don't happen on Instagram and Facebook pages. We don't talk about them because they are hard truths. In my life, I experienced wisdom and knowledge. When I work with clients, what I have seen is when there is too much focus on the way your child performs and they micromanage their activities, actually parents are distracting themselves from the bigger issue between them and their partner. Most often than not, we are overly attached to our children's grade and their performance and everything because we don't want to look as to what is really going on in our life with our partners. We are having fights, we are going through divorces, we are not happy, we are resentful. And so the only thing you can control is how your child shows up. And so you're so hyper-focused on your child. And your mind tells this is the way, otherwise how will he get those grades? How will he study? But that's just a narrative. Remove you from the picture, those kids still survive. And then there is genetics, there is biological aspect here, where when your child fails, you fail. When someone humiliates your child, you feel humiliated. So there's a part of them in every mother, there's a part of our child in our DNA. And so every time your child goes through something, we go through it. So that aspect is there. That's why mothers mostly overreact when it comes to their children. But that does not give us a chance or doesn't give us a free way to walk their journey. They are still doing, they are the ones giving the exam, they are the ones studying, they are the ones going through the world. They are the ones who are going to turn into adults. We cannot make it about us. This is a very hard pill to swallow. But just tiny bit of reflection can change the way you show up as parent. Let your child feel something is different about my parents now. Tiny difference. Less control, more connection. Less pressure, more presence. There are simple do's and don'ts. Very simple do's and don'ts. They're very simple. At 16, in fact even 9-year-olds, forget at 16. Even 9-year-olds don't like when you tell them to do something. None of us like it. And so even I, doing what I'm doing with my children, it's painful to not give wisdom, not want to jump in with all the knowledge that I have accrued. But have that respect to ask them, do you need support from me? Where can I help you? Even when they come ranting, I have mastered over the years the art of asking them, do you just want to rant or do you want my opinion? Because anyway, if I give my opinion, they're not going to take. I could be Prime Minister, they won't take my opinion. That's how a teenage brain is. They're going to look at you and their brain is going to tell them, I am in control, you don't know anything. That's evolution. We went through it. So I could be whoever doing this for a living, but if I give an opinion unwarranted to my child, they don't want it. Mom, I'll figure it out. So let them rant. When they are ranting, when they are upset, don't try to fix it. Ask them. Just ask them, do you want my support? Do you want my insight? Do you want to know what I would do? Wait for them to say yes. And they will say no. And say, that's okay. You'll be surprised next week they'll come back and say, okay mom, what were you saying? Okay dad, what was that about? I've worked with them to know how they respond. When you let them, they want to come close. When you try to go close, they'll shut the door. Normalize the struggle. It's just O levels. It's not that serious, guys. Trust me. It may feel like it is serious. But you have no clue where the world is moving. When we were growing up, we had no clue what was the job market going to be like. Today with ChatGPT and AI, do you really think all of this is going to be that important as much we are giving it? No, there's so many careers out there that are coming up which we've not even heard about. Mechatronics didn't exist when I was graduating. Environmental courses didn't exist when I was graduating. Look at the options our children have right now. Then imagine 5-6 years from now, every day it's changing so fast. So normalize the struggle. Say it's okay, as long as you're putting in effort, things will come. Don't make it serious than that. But you need to believe that. You need to lower your own anxiety around the exams. You need to change your own relationship with performance. When was the last time, this is a pure reflection, when was the last time you actually praised your child for an effort without any other opinion or lecture coming after it? I wish your children were here. Praising them just like that. In Hindi that's a word, just like that. Just praise them. They are putting in effort. Tiny things. Just like food, shelter, clothing, attention, affection, appreciation, acceptance is our need. To feel the appreciation is our fundamental need to thrive. To feel accepted is our fundamental need to thrive. Getting attention from my parents, my dad noticed that today I studied a bit more. That makes their day. My mother noticed today something is different about my room and I cleaned it. Makes their day. Praise, praise, praise. You will never fall short of that. Don't think it will go to their head. It doesn't. Life is giving them enough to not let it go to their head. Praise their efforts, you will see how motivation thrives in them. Most importantly, regulate your own anxiety. One thing I have seen, it's vetted, science-based fact. Children will not do what you tell them to do. Children will do what they see you do. If you are late for work, they'll always be late. If your room is messy, their room will be messy. If you have clutter in your cupboards, they'll have clutter in their cupboards. If you drink when you are stressed, they will drink when they are stressed with their abilities. If you react to everything, they will react to everything. If you are anxious during their exams, they will be anxious. If you do breath work, they will do breath work. If you go to gym, they will go to gym. If you eat healthy, they will eat healthy. Don't speak, just do. And leave everything rest for the science to do. Whatever you want of them, start applying it. For yourself. 3 minutes of breath work. Just 3 minutes. Just breathing consciously. Just 10 breaths. 10 deep inhale, exhale. If you start doing, your anxiety will be lower. They'll see you do it, they will do it. You'll be less reactive, they will be less stressed. I've already told about comparison. In fact, this is the best thing I ask the parents I work with. I give them a challenge and I bring their children into this challenge. Take a challenge for 7 days. I'm not going to compare. Tell them about it. And then put it on your fridge. Each time you compare, have a tiny bet with them. Even a tick mark or a cross gets exciting as a game between parents and children. This will also make you realize you think you don't compare until your child tells you, but that was comparison, mom. Take this up as challenge. Your children will laugh about it. Sometimes I get children, they say, she did it for 3 days. Fourth day they went back, which is okay, but at least there's awareness. There's awareness. So yes, it's very important that we don't compare. It's very important we don't tie our love to their performance or their achievements. Love is unconditional. We can love them, snuggle with them, hug them. You will say that my 16-year-old doesn't do that. Do it until he does that back. You give up. Why do you give up? Why do you give up hugging your children? Because they say no, so they don't give up when they want something, do they? No, don't give up. Forcefully hug them, they'll start laughing. Do it 6 times, 10 times, 15th time they'll come and say, Mom, where's my hug? Try. We are scared of rejection. It's not that serious. They are our children. That's how you show them love. On a bad day, hug them tighter. On a bad day, say, okay, let's first go and celebrate. It's a bad day, but we celebrate that you survived. Let's look at what we can do better. And I'll tell you, there is a reason to this. If you make a beautiful relationship of theirs with failure, for life you don't have to worry. Because I've never met anyone who tells I've never failed. I've worked with professional Olympians. I work with athletes. Of course they have a bad day, they make a mistake, they fail, they are written off, they are cancelled out, they come back again. That's part of life. All of us here have failed so many times. But if your children know that on days that you fail, you are loved, when they grow up, they love themselves on the day that they have failed, which gives them the motivation next day to show up and never give up. Change that relationship. Approach failure as another way to learn. I've never met a single kid in 10 years who tells me I love my D minuses, leave me alone. Not a single kid has come up to me and said, but Miss, I love failing in English. No, they don't, they want to thrive. So don't think they'll get used to failure, they won't. They don't like failure. But they need someone who believes in them on the day that they are failing. Especially in the next 4 months, make it about that. Make that your mantra. Most important aspect is do not try, and we do that. We try to live through our children. You wanted to be a pianist, and now your child is forced to like piano lessons. We go through that. Don't live through your child. Honestly, best way to have self-reflection and awareness, have this conversation with your children today. Ask them, do you sometimes think that I'm pushing my hopes and aspirations on you? Ask them. Be very honest and listen. And if they say yes, okay, how can I change? That's connection, that's bonding. That's a real, authentic conversation. This is the final slide, and I have just about 4 deep questions for you to reflect on. Just reflect and bring in awareness so that you can shift something. It's a simple reflection question. When my child struggles, do I correct, motivate, or understand? Your first answer is the right answer. Am I a coach, a judge, or safe place during exams? What would your child say if they were here to you? Are you a coach? Are you a judge? Are you their safe space? Who are you during their exams? Are you their examiner? Am I reliving my academic journey through them? Do you think that your expectations are coming from what you did or did not do as a child? your child to remember about these 4 months? Someday they'll be telling these stories to their children. Will they say that your grandparents made my life miserable? Or will they say that they were my cheerleaders? What do you think? What do you want your children to remember? These are such tiny but important moments of their life. These moments, forget about the results, forget about the actual exam. Forget about it. These moments will help them know how to figure life out. Because these exam phases are going to come, they never end. Never. The exam is this, how you show up. The exam is them, how they show up. Not the results, not the actual exam. How are they building their character? How are you helping them shape their character in these 4 months? I will end this conversation before I take any questions with a personal story. I have 2 daughters because when I'm giving you so much gyan or lecture on parenting, it's important I share about my children. I have 2 daughters, 18 and 21, and my 21-year was superstar in her high school years, getting all those grades. She was in TP2. Aga Khan, she was doing IB. Head girl, valedictorian. I think she scored, because I really don't remember whether it was math or physics, but I think she scored full marks in her final year. The story is not about that. The story is on her graduation. When the teachers asked her, because when they do this graduation, there's this big hoo-ha around where are they going to, which country, which university, what are they going to become. And that's like when you enter the stage, there's this big life-size, whatever, projector, your picture, your university that you're going to go. That's this big thing. So when the teacher asked her, what are you going to do? She's like, I'm taking a gap year. And they're like, no, you can't take a gap year. What's going on? Like, why are you taking a gap year? No, because I'm taking a gap year. But what is your plan? So she said, okay, I want to become an astrophysicist. I want to study in Germany. So I have to first get my German sorted. So I'm taking a gap year to figure all this out and learn certain things about the language to give the entrance exams, because the course that she wanted to study had to be taught in German. That means if she wants to be a student of Technical University of Berlin in Germany, she will be studying physics in German. She will be studying core subjects in German. So she decided to take a gap year. When we went for the graduation, they actually put the name of the university, writing which fall they'll be going in or whatever, not next year but year after next or something like that. And we were aghast because that's the world we live in. We live in a world where we want to know where is somebody going after this. It was a very difficult year for my child because while she was giving her gap year, her younger sister at 15, who always wanted to be a professional footballer, got a scholarship in US in high school to play soccer at a competitive level in US. So she left at 15. She had the most difficult stories with, even as parents, most difficult stories. Where I have a 15-year-old committed to soccer from 7 to 15. When she was 7 till the age of 15, she played in all boys club. She's actually never experienced playing in a girls team competitively. So when she left at 15, we were not even prepared for it. And when her younger sister left, her self-worth, wherever she was going, she saw her friends moving. She saw her friends moving ahead. Everybody's leaving. But it was her choice to stand tall in her choice. Studied German, went ahead. Now when you go there, you have to give an entrance exam called Studienkolleg, if you're an international student. See, the thing about Germany, why Germany? The thing about Germany is because you practically pay no fees. They're the finest universities in the world and you pay literally no fees. but they take you only if you are intellect of the intellect, like pool of the full genius. So the entrance exams are very difficult. For that entrance exam, you have a foundation paper. Long story short, she's 21 now, and yesterday we got the news, she did her foundation year over there. Did brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And finally, her dream at 21, she's gotten into Technical University of Nairobi. She is in Germany for the last 1.5 years doing her foundation, speaks fluent German. Why am I sharing this story? It's not about a heroic story. The story is about believing in your child. It could be A-star, but still want a gap year. I know the judgment I faced with many. I know me and my husband both, with the choices that we were making for our children. But we were not making those choices. They were making the choices. We were just supporting them in what they wanted to do, being their biggest cheerleader. So 21, when most of the children that age are graduating, they are in their final year, my child is getting into the first year of becoming the finest scientist ever. Because I know she will. But we didn't get this. None of us here got this. They will think we were idling away if we talked about gap year. So be prepared. Time is changing. You'll be surprised and shocked what your children bring up to you. Are you ready to be warriors, stand by them and support them like you are their mentors? They are making the decision. They will live by that decision. You're just going to support them, provide for them. But the sky is the limit. Every legend in the world, every legend, whether it's sports, whether it is literature, whether it is scientists, every legend in the world has somebody who believed in them and supported them throughout with their dream. Are you ready to be that? Thank you very much.